Hi everybody, welcome to Levels of Mediocrity. I'm Nathan and I'm here with my co-host Alex.
Hello.
And today we're going to be watching a film which I'm expecting not to be mediocre in any way. I have never seen it, which some people would call as a sin, but you have seen this before.
Yes, indeed I have seen this movie and it is fantastically entertaining. Have you seen other Tim Burton films?
I've of course seen Batman and Batman Returns. I've seen Edward Scissorhands. And I did see a film of his that I think it's overlooked because I really did enjoy it, is a film called Big Fish.
Yes, Big Fish. I think I've also seen it, and I think I also found it fairly enjoyable, but it is nothing like this movie. Now, I'm not going to tell you too much about this movie, simply because I have already seen it, and I don't want to spoil anything, so let's just get right into it.
Trailers. False start.
Alright, I'm just going to skip these, get right to the movie. No!
Unskippable trailers.
Why do they do this?
To make you watch in the hopes that you will buy something else, but it just ends up ticking you off.
Disney DVDs.
I forget this is Disney.
Yeah. I know that some DVDs have something called Fast Play, which I don't even know what the thing is supposed to do, but they always advertise it as if it's supposed to be helpful and allow you to skip ahead.
I miss just popping in the VHS, the announcer guy, soon to be available on home video, and then you have your trailers, and now our feature presentation. And then we go into it, and it's the minimalist version of the castle with the arc, or the firework or the star doing the arc over it, and then it's just playing that little tune. This nonsense. I don't like it.
Alright, two options. If I select Fast Play, does that take me straight to the movie?
I don't know what that means. I've never done it before. I'm just trying to skip past it because it's like, go away. Bear with us, folks. We don't know what we're doing. Here we go. What goes into a stop-motion production? This is staggering. How do you think up such fluid choreography one frame at a time? It baffles me how you make something like this. Like, I understand the principle of how it's done, but doing it... He has to be like the origin and inspiration for like Slender Man. Pale face, long, spindly, gotta be. I love all the sight gags. You know, I know that's sort of the point, but they're perfect. It's gonna be something scary, isn't it? He just can't get it out of his system. It's what you do, man. It's what you're good at. You're a toy. You can't fly.
Do you think this movie would have frightened you as a child?
It's hard to say. I will admit I was frightened by odd things as a kid. I would find menace in certain things in which none was intended, but there were things that were meant to be scary that haunted me for a while. Although, considering the sing-songy nature of it, probably not.
I'm reminded just how incredibly unique all the designs are, either for the set or for the characters. Like, this is not something that I've ever seen rehashed before. This is something completely unique from Tim Burton.
Oh no. Tim Burton opened up his head and someone turned him upside down and shook him. So are they doing this on Halloween instead of Halloween? Or did they skip Halloween and they're actually doing this to Christmas?
Even though I have seen this movie, I genuinely have no idea.
We're probably thinking too deeply about it, and it's more the experience of the feeling people get from it. People probably don't think this much into the logistics of the Halloween world, you know.
Yeah, probably not.
I want an answer, but the answer doesn't matter. How is he the boogeyman? And then I realize the boogeyman comes from the bag man, because he would carry kids away in a sack, so he's literally a bag. So he's the boogeyman.
Huh, I've never heard of that before. Is that like a myth or something surrounding the boogeyman?
It's just one of the origins of the term, the concept. Go back to bed, little Billy. I get that he's the boogeyman. I don't get the gambling motif.
Honestly, neither do I.
That was in its way perfect.
That was a fun film. Now, usually this is the point of the video where we do our summary of the movie we just watched and then do a review. However, in this case, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. And the reason we're going to be doing things a little bit differently is because this is actually a good movie. Most of the other films we watched are not nearly this level of quality. Additionally, I suppose that there are probably some people out there who have never watched this film. So if you have never watched it, go ahead and watch it and let us not spoil your fun. One of the main reasons we chose to watch this film at this time is because, frankly, we needed a bit of a palate cleanser from some of the other films we've been watching, and to remember what makes movies actually enjoyable. So, Nathan, this is your first time ever having watched it. What is your first time reaction?
I'm glad this thing exists. It's amazing. And I sat here and watched it, and now am lamenting the fact that it took me so long to sit down and watch it. I really enjoyed the atmosphere, the music, but I like how it is equal parts The Night Before Christmas, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, with the Tim Burton-y Halloween twist to it. Whimsically dark. You know, that's what they do. It's their brand.
Yeah, and I've already mentioned this, but a lot of the movies we've already watched and a lot of the movies we plan to watch in the future are not particularly good movies. It is so nice to watch a movie that's actually well made.
Yes, and this was a very good movie.
But all that quality comes with a price. Like, this movie was made entirely in stop motion, Nathan. Entirely in stop motion. I mean, they have a set of bonus features on here where we already watched that talks about them going frame by frame by frame and switching out heads, switching out parts. And it is absolutely insane the amount of work and the amount of detail it takes to make a movie like this.
How do you do this and not lose your mind? But, you know, this could have been traditionally animated and the music still would have been powerful. But there's something tangible because it's actual models and puppets and we're moving a camera around it, but it's still animation. We're moving a camera around and we're blocking as if though we're filming live action people. But we're animating it, but it's not still animation. We're animating figurines and whatnot, and it lends this otherworldliness to it. I don't think any other medium could have given to this. Stop motion was perfect to tell this story.
Well, yeah, this movie could have been animated using traditional cell animation, simply because isn't stop motion animation way more work than traditional cell animation because you're actually having to build the physical objects that are being portrayed in the movie.
Oh, yes. You're working on months of minuscule little movements depending on how smooth you want it to be in order to get a couple minutes of footage.
Yeah, and it's all because of the general overhead of having to build the physical thing. You have to build the set, you have to build the characters, you have to, when you have them change mouth positions, some of them you have to replace their entire heads, and every single frame you take a head off, put a new head on, take a snapshot, take the head off, put a new head on, take another snapshot, and keep doing that over and over again for an entire full-length movie.
Oh, I do know that was definitely a thing. I'm not sure about this production, but I do remember seeing briefly something about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and that using motion-controlled cameras that are on a specific path that they can repeat over and over again in order to get what they need, frame by frame by frame by frame. But now because things are done digitally and not on actual film anymore, now you have the ability to actually see what you've done as you're doing it. Whereas back then when you're doing it on film, okay, we've done this, send this off to the lab, have this developed, bring it back, put it up in the projector room, let's look, oh, it didn't work, we got to reset.
All right, I think it's finally time to give this film a rating. So I think everybody who knows about this film knows that it is a fun film to watch. I think everybody who made this film knows that it is a fun film to watch. So much so that they intentionally put unskippable ads at the beginning of this movie, forcing you to watch advertisements to other films before you could actually watch this film. Therefore, the rating for this movie will be the exceedingly high score of 10 unskippable ads.